What's happening, film friends? David the Film Junkie here. All right, you guys ready for my spoilerific Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 video? That's right. If you haven't seen my original review, it's on my channel. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I suggest you watch that first and then come back here once you watch it. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet. Go watch it! So anyways, guys, so here we go. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Spoiler Talk. So the movie opens up with, I swear, they're loving this making older actors youthful technology. And it actually looked really good because it opens up in Missouri of 1980. And you basically see a young Ego, a young Kurt Russell, and you see a young Peter Quill mom. And you know, they're having a good time. They seem like they're really in love. And he shows her a little plant, a little alien little plant that is going in the ground. And then that's pretty much it. Of course, that sets something up for later. We fast forward to present day, and we got the Guardians on some planet where these squiddy things are going to swallow up these batteries or whatnot. So they got to, like, prevent it. And I must say, a very awesome opening, better opening than the first one. You basically have some speakers and stuff that Peter Quill, Star-Lord, he likes to listen to music while he's fighting. And we got little baby Groot who plugs it all in, and then he just starts dancing as everybody's fighting. And it's like a one-shot. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty creative because as the credits are rolling and everything, and he's dancing around, which of course is absolutely adorable, you got the other Guardians that are just like falling into place every now and then and almost landing on him. And then you see the squid because the fight's happening, which I guess some people might get a little mad about. You don't see the actual action and them taking it on, but you kind of do. And then Drax, of course, gets swallowed up and he tries to cut his way out, which he actually doesn't. It's Gamora who saves everybody. Anyways, you got all that, and then these gold people that they talk to, I forgot what they're called, but Rocket does something that he shouldn't, which he steals some of those gold battery things. So, of course, these gold people are like, not gold batteries, but they look like bulbs. Energy batteries, I don't know. So the gold people show up in these ships, and it's basically, they're not actually physically in the ships. It's like a simulation. It's a video game, which was kind of lame after a while. At first it was cool, but after a while it just turned kind of dumb for me. They escape, and they get the help of a dude on top of his ship. And, of course, you know, there's a lot of jokes that have been already, showing up, and we got... At first it was okay, but after a while the jokes just got this is like a sitcom. So then we meet Ego and Mantis. Ego lands and then, I'm your father, Peter, blah, blah, blah. After they've crashed on this one planet. So then Peter, Gamora, Drax go. They actually go, and Nebula, I think, shows up, but she's held captive. And she's held on, she's staying with the ship with... Yondu, almost forgot his name. Yondu actually shows up too. But what's funny about Yondu is he basically gets banished from his little Ravengers or whatever. The Ravers? I don't even know. I'm like out of it. They realize that he protects Peter. He doesn't exactly, he's not going after him. He doesn't want to kill him. He's just basically, they see right through him. And one of his buddies obviously like mentions how he's just not how he used to be. And then, of course, he basically gets banished from his little his gang. We got Yondu, Rocket, and Baby Groot on the ship, staying behind. And we got everybody else going with Ego, going to the planet. And he starts doing his exposition thing, which I mentioned in my actual review, my actual review, where, he's basically just gives a lot of exposition dialogue, talking. And then there's something that they pulled straight out of Man of Steel somewhat. You got Ego explaining to Peter where he came from and everything that happened before, he was born and everything. And he's got these little displays that form into, like, what he's talking about. And, yeah, come on. It's a little bit from Man of Steel. Although they use colors, it's actually color. It wasn't just like one solid, little thing. So we find out that Peter actually has some of that power too. He can make like a little ball of energy or whatnot. And it was kind of a nice little father and son moment because he got to play catch with his dad finally because he mentions how he never got to do that. And there's like this David Hasselhoff joke that, no. It was dumb. To me, it was dumb. I just didn't like it. It felt like that should have been something in an Austin Powers movie. I don't know. I didn't like the David Hasselhoff joke, and it was like a running joke because he said that he kept a picture of his dad in his pocket, which was just David Hasselhoff from Knight Rider. And then eventually, like, Ego actually turns into David Hasselhoff at one point, and I was going, good Lord, what? And then oh, God. Moving on! Okay, so we're finding out that Gamora is actually being suspicious. Like, what the heck's going on? Nebula, like, takes the ship and pretty much crashes it trying to kill Gamora. And we find out a lot about Gamora, you know, because basically all her machinery is added on by Thanos, because Thanos always looked at her as not as strong as Gamora. So every time that she lost the battle to Gamora, he would add more like prosthetic like machinery to get her up to her level. That's pretty fucked up. So while this is going on, the Ravengers, of course, are holding Yondu, Rocket, and Baby Groot captive, basically, by a guy named, what's his name? Frickin' I forgot his name. He had a stupid name, and he said it was a metaphor. Taserface! And there's a sad little moment where they're messing with little baby Groot, you know, pouring alcohol on him, and it's just, it's kind of a sad moment. You're like, oh, but then it gets to, like, a really, pretty funny moment. Like, this is one of the gags, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this works, instead of the David Hasselhoff shit. Yondu and Rocket are held behind, you know, in, like, a cage, and baby Groot is basically, he walks by, and they ask if you want, you know, you want to get out of here? You need to go get my little fin, Yondu says, that he has this little thing that he puts on his head, and Baby Groot keeps on going back and keeps on bringing back the wrong thing. It's a pretty funny moment. Then he finally gets the right thing, and then they get out of there and everything, and then of course they're all gonna meet up with each other again. And then let's just get to the twist of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Ego needs Peter to basically combine energy, because when you're a celestial being, what the hell else do you need to do with life? You could create. That's all you could do. How boring of a life, I guess that would be, even though he created this paradise of a planet. And I was wondering how they were going to do this. How are they going to achieve the whole Ego as a planet, or is he just going to be in human form? But it turns out he's an evil son of a bitch. He's not daddy that you want. He basically wants to take over every celestial body out there, including Earth. That little plant that he had in the ground, yeah, that was mainly to take over. And, you know, once he had an offspring that could actually hold that power, which means he hoarded himself out to all these species all over the place. Just basically impregnated all these female, you know, you had Earth, and then he did a lot of fucking. Not to mention, he put a tumor in Peter Quill's mom's head. Ouch! So of course Peter Quill is like, what the hell? He was basically hypnotized by the whole idea of everything, and then of course there's like a big blob of something that shows up that you actually see Earth. Oh, there's a part where, like, next to a Dairy Queen where people are running away, and you're thinking, well, is Iron Man gonna show up? They were saying there's a plot hole, but there's something I explain with that. It's not really a plot hole. I don't really give a shit because of the time frame of everything. It's kind of dumb. But so there's like this whole battle that happens on that planet. I mean, basically they have to strap an explosive to his brain, to like the core of the planet, which of course we've actually seen that device where, you know, little baby Groot's like, yeah, I am Groot, and he's about to hit the wrong button, and he takes it there. So Peter and Ego basically are having this like fight, and they're flying, and there's crazy shit happening. And you know what? I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that was a nice little twist. And you're going, okay, the gold people are not exactly the villains. We got Ego, who's actually the villain, and he's supposed to be a villain, which I thought that was cool. And a lot of people said, like, I didn't even know what the plot was till like 40 minutes in. I'm like, the plot was setting up for the twist and the villain. So I actually commend James Gunn for that, because, you know, you had Ego show up real quick, and he was just basically showing a paradise, and, you know, I'm your father, Peter, and just buttering him up to do this really bad thing. So, of course, they pretty much defeat him. Mantis has this ability to make him sleep, and so she did that. The back and forth between her and Drax kind of got old after a while, too, but, and of course, little Groot gets the bomb strapped on there. He pushes the right button, and everything. We're good. And then the planet's like breaking up, blowing up. Rocket takes off. They think they're just going to leave Peter behind. But Yondu now, guys. Yondu sacrifices himself to save Peter. He has that suit, that invisible suit where you can be in space. He only has one, and then he's got like a little rocket thing or whatever the fuck. So he can't use both. So he pulls Peter out of the planet. They're flying up. Of course, he looks like Mary Poppins, which they made that joke funny. And he pulls him up into space, and of course he dies in space, and no more Yondu. He sacrificed himself. There was a death in a Marvel Studios movie, guys. Like, You know how a lot of people were griping that there wasn't a death in Civil War because Marvel are a bunch of pussies? Well, there you go. They sacrificed, and I actually thought that was great. It was touching. Even the little funeral part was touching. It's pretty touching, even though they brought up the David Hasselhoff joke again and it just took me right out of it. So there you go, guys. That is my spoiler review of Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first, like I said in my original review, and yeah, there's a little too many jokes, a little too much of this, too much of that, but I did like the story. I like the overall story. I like the whole ego thing, and you're thinking, okay, this is good for him. Oh, the bad guys are over here. No, he's actually the full-on bad guy. Nice little twist, and I like the sacrifice from Yondu because it was the father and son aspect. That was the true father and son because obviously Ego has never been around. Yondu picked him up from Earth a while back, so he's always been his father, even though he trained him to be like a thief and stuff. So I just thought that was good. So let me know your thoughts about it down below, guys. What do you think about all that? And, you know, what did you think? Did you like all that? What did you hate about the movie? What did you like? Let me know down below. Hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the other channel, too. Follow me on the social media stuff floating above my head. Talk to you later.